Hey, would you like to know the 5 tips for building a successful team? Hi, I'm Cam Roberts, and as a marketing coach and consultant, one of the things that I'm really good at that a lot of people don't know is actually building teams. Before I got into the internet marketing and digital marketing space, I actually used to be a professional sports coach. And as a sports coach, one of my abilities was to build teams. You know, you get plenty of coaches out there that get what I called lucky. They get lucky with one talented athlete, you know. And there used to be an old saying that used to get kicked around back in my coaching days by a few coaches, and they used to say that, you know, a Mickey Mouse could coach a gifted athlete. And what they meant by that was, you know, you don't need any special skills to get a gifted athlete, someone who's super talented, say like a Michael Jordan, right, or someone like that, to achieve results, because they're going to be great anyway. However, a really good team coach requires the ability to develop multiple personalities across any team. So what I want to share with you now, because one of the people in our Facebook group reached out and asked me and said, hey Cam, have you got any tips for developing teams? And I said, well, actually I do, because I used to develop teams. So not only have I developed sporting teams where I've had over 130 state champions and 50 national champions across swimming, triathlon, surf lifesaving. Once I moved out of that area, I then started my own swim school and my own personal training studio. And at any one time of those two businesses, we had 1,200 clients and 30 odd staff each and every week to handle. So there's a lot of teams within those teams. There's a lot of teams within those different dynamics of people. You know, when you've got that many people, you've got to juggle your team. And so there's a couple of philosophies that I've always adapted that I wanted to share. And I've just got them written on my screen as well for the person, and I wanted to share them with you. So my number one tip is to hire slow and fire fast. And that was a tip that I got off a gentleman called Brian Tracy. And I read it in one of his books, and I always held it quite dear to me. You know, you should always hire slow. Don't jump in to hire new people really quickly, because you want to make sure they work out, right? So you want to hire slow. But then, you know, when something goes wrong and things start to go wrong, they're not going to get better, right? They usually get worse. And so it's time to let people go for whatever reason. And it's no big deal. It's just part of being in a team. It's part of being in business. If people don't work out, they don't want to be there, you don't want them there, they're not there for the benefit of the team, you need to move them on. So hire slow, right? Fire fast. That was one I learned from Brian Tracy. The second skill, or the second tip for building a successful team that I've always worked on, is to hire for character and then train on skill. And what I mean by that is, any time that I've looked for people to add to my team, whether it's in the digital marketing space, or whether it's been in a sporting team, or whether it's been in the offline world in a traditional bricks and mortar business, what I'm looking for is character. I'm looking for the character of the person. What do they really like to work with? Because you can train anyone on skill that's got the right character. Are they passionate? Are they enthusiastic? Are they energetic? They're the types of characteristics that I'm looking for as a leader when I'm hiring new people and wanting new people to join my team. Because I can train skill. I can train digital marketing skills. I can train sporting skills. I can train business skills. I can train customer service skills, right? But I can't train passion. You see the difference? I can't train energy. You see? I can't train enthusiasm. That's got to come from within. So you always look for the character of a person for the hire or joining your team, and then you can train on the skill. Now, the third tip is that teamwork makes the dream work. And even though I've always positioned myself as the leader in my business, because someone's got to lead, someone's got to be that person that drives the ship, I've always looked at myself as the captain of a team. So I don't go into a business and say I'm the boss type of scenario. I've never had that mentality of the boss. Even in my bricks and mortar businesses, my swim school, the gym, I always just wanted to be part of one of the team, right? Now watch this though. There's a big distinction between being in the team and working on the team. And so I always position myself as the captain or the coach of the team. You see, there's a big difference again, but the coach is still a part of the team. So, but the coach in a football team, in a professional football team, is not one of the players, you see, but there's someone who are a part of the team and they're overseeing. They've got a big picture view of everything that's going on the field, of the individual players and their characteristics and things like that. And so I always looked at myself, obviously when I was a sporting coach, I used to look at myself as a coach, but even when I had my bricks and mortar businesses, I just literally looked at myself as the coach of the team. So it was a swim school team, it was a gym team, I now run a digital marketing team, and I look at myself as the coach of the team. I'm not the boss, right? I'm not there to boss people around and tell them what to do. I'm the coach. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking to coach people. I'm looking to help them get better, right? Because if I help them get better and we work together as a team, teamwork makes the dream work. And so that's what I really have always endeavored to do in my teams, and that is to use teamwork to make the dream work and position myself as a leader who's a coach and not the leader who's as a boss, right? Does that make sense? Now, tip number 4 is to build your team one person at a time. And because, when you're building a team, you can't develop relationships with 20 people at once, right? And so the way to build your team is just to build it one person at a time. And so as you add a new team member, it's super important that that new team member understands your expectations as the leader, understands the expectations of what makes the team, understands the mission of the team, the values of the team, the culture, right, of the team. They need to understand that as they come on board, and you need to work with them. You can't just dump someone in your team and expect they know the culture, the mission, and everything that goes along with that team, right? So it's super important that you build one person at a time, especially as they join your team. Make sure that you offer them the right level of encouragement. Make sure that you let them know that you're there to support them. Make sure you let them know it's okay to make mistakes, because they will make mistakes because they are new. And that's all part of, doing business and being in a team and all that sort of stuff, right? And even when they're not new, if a team member's been with you for 6, 7, 8, or even 9 years, it's still important to develop that person one person at a time. And I've done that in my digital marketing space team today, my digital marketing team. There's people who have been with me for 10 years and I still continue to develop them. I still continue to train them. I still continue to provide value to their lives and help upskill them so that they get better. Because as they get better, the whole team gets better and we all achieve a better outcome, depending on what the mission is and what the goals are for the greater team. Okay? So the 5th and final tip I want to give you about building a successful team is the 80-20 rule. It's called the Pareto principle. And what I've always done personally, and you can try this in your business or in your team, is that I've always worked on 80% of my time on 20% of my people. And what I mean by that is 20% of any organization or any team has top performers. And it's not that you don't want to work with everybody, right? You do. You want to coach everyone in your team. You want to give them equal time. But what you've got to do is you've got to develop your performers, because your performers will bring up and pull up the rest of your team. If you've got someone who's just in your team and they're kind of, down the bottom of the team, they're kind of dragging the chain a little bit, they just do it because they have to, not because they want to. If you put all of your energy, your effort, your enthusiasm, your passion as a leader into that person, they might get better, but they're not going to pull up the rest of the team, which is different from working on your top performers, right? So you work on your top performers and those people actually pull up the rest of the team, because whoever's under them is going to rise up and whoever under them is going to rise up as well. So that's really important that you work on that principle, the 80-20 rule. Work 80% of your time on 20% of your people and watch how those top performers pull up the rest of your team. So I trust that's been helpful, the 5 tips for building a successful team. If you need help with any of that, you can reach out to me. Leave me a message wherever you're watching this video. Just leave a comment below and I'll be in touch. Or you can go to my website at camroberts.com.au.